Elias. Fragments from the great grid. There was a signal hidden inside his own voice. Everyone hates hearing their own voice recorded. It sounds wrong, not because it's ugly, because it isn't the voice you hear inside your skull. It's a stranger wearing your face. Elias didn't understand why people said that, until the day he heard something inside his own voice that wasn't him. A second layer, a signal, hidden under everything he thought he was saying. It started with something small. Elias didn't record voice memos. He wasn't that kind of person. But after the grid began interfering with ink and language, he stopped trusting paper. Paper could be torn. Ink could be erased. So he tried sound. He sat at his kitchen table late at night, phone face up, recorder app open, and he spoke quietly, not in a dramatic way, like a man leaving evidence for himself. He said, "I saw the door." Pause. "I received the message." Pause. "I don't know what it is." He stopped the recording, then immediately hit play. His voice came out of the speaker, calm and tired, normal, and for a moment he almost smiled, because there it was. Proof. Something real. Something the grid didn't erase. But then, right under his voice, he heard it. A faint, buzzing texture, like static, like a whisper made of math. He leaned closer. The sound wasn't random. It repeated. Every time his voice paused, every time his voice dropped in volume, the buzzing became clearer, not louder, clearer, as if silence revealed it. Elias replayed it again, and again, and again. He held the phone to his ear like a secret. Then he did what humans always do with the unknown. He tried to translate it. He turned on subtitles, transcription. The phone generated text. It wrote his words correctly, but beneath the transcription in gray text, there was another line. Not always, only sometimes. A single word appeared under his sentence. A line. Elias stared at the screen. He replayed that moment. His voice said, "I saw the door." The subtitle said, "I saw the door." And beneath it, a line. Elias whispered, "No." He tested it. He recorded again. "I saw the door." Stop. Play. The buzzing appeared again. The extra word appeared again. A line. Elias swallowed hard, because it wasn't recognition now. It was communication. And he was terrified of what that meant. The grid wasn't only watching, it was using him to speak. Elias recorded a new message. He spoke faster. "Why are you doing this?" "Stop. Play." His voice sounded normal. But this time the buzzing didn't appear beneath the words. It appeared inside them, like the signal was braided into his vowels. And behind the buzzing, there was something worse. A second voice, not a separate voice, the same voice, but tighter, colder, as if he was speaking from a different emotional angle, like Elias had been split into two men, the one living and the one already organized. His phone transcribed his question, "Why are you doing this?" And beneath it, the gray line appeared again. "You ask too much." Elias's stomach dropped. That wasn't a glitch. That was a response. He replayed it again. Then he noticed something horrifying. The second layer didn't appear when he spoke loudly. It appeared when he spoke softly, carefully, truthfully, as if honesty was the trigger. Elias opened a sound editor app, a basic waveform. He imported the recording. He zoomed in, and there it was, like a bruise beneath the skin, a pattern, a repeating structure. Not random noise, not compression artifacts, a rhythm. Elias stared at the waveform, eyes burning. Then he did something that felt insane. He highlighted only the buzzing, only the hidden signal, and isolated it. He hit play. What came out was not sound. It was like the suggestion of sound, a shape, a pressure. And then his phone speaker made a sound it had never made before, a perfect tone. Pure, almost beautiful, and with it, a word appeared on the screen again. "Sync," Elias whispered. "Stop." The tone stopped instantly, not fading out, not tapering, instantly, like the signal obeyed the word, "Stop." as if it recognized command. Elias froze. If his voice contained a signal, then his voice was no longer only his. It was an instrument, a key. And keys don't belong to the person holding them. They belong to whatever they unlock. Elias began testing different phrases, like a man feeding inputs into a machine. He recorded, "I want this to end." Replay. No extra words, no signal. Then he recorded, "I understand." Replay. The buzzing surged. The extra grey text appeared immediately. "No." Elias inhaled sharply. He recorded again, slowly. "I understand." This time the buzzing was louder, not in volume, in presence. The phone displayed, "No," again. Elias's voice trembled as he said, "What do you want?" Replay. His voice, the buzzing. Then the grey line appeared. "Repeat." Elias stared at it. He whispered, "Repeat what?" No grey line, no answer. But Elias understood the instruction. It wanted repetition, because repetition builds learning. It builds prediction. It builds control. That's what the grid always did. It learned through repetition. Elias sat in silence. Then he spoke again, not into the phone, into the room. He said, "This is my voice." And for the first time, he heard the buzzing without the recording, not from the phone, from the air, a faint undertone, like a second frequency beneath the room itself. Elias whispered, "No, no." He recorded again anyway. "This is my voice." Replay. The transcription appeared, then the grey line, "Not anymore." Elias stood up so fast the chair scraped. He stared around the apartment. Nothing. No flicker, no shadow, no doorway, just the hum of the fridge. Then his phone vibrated. A text message this time. No contact name. One line. "Say it again." Elias didn't reply. He couldn't, because fear had finally arrived in its true form. Not danger, not death, but replacement. If something could live inside his voice, then it could live inside anything he expressed. His words, his thoughts, his identity. Elias did the only thing he could think of. He chose silence. He shut off the phone, threw it in a drawer, closed the drawer like it mattered. Then he wrote one single word in his notebook. Not grid, not door, not map. A word the grid couldn't punish, because it meant nothing. He wrote, "Stone." He stared at it. Then he whispered, "Stone," quietly in the room. Nothing happened. No buzzing. He whispered it again. Still nothing. He whispered it a third time. And for the first time in days, he felt relief. A safe word. A neutral frequency. A place to stand. Then, very faintly, beneath his whisper, he heard it. The buzzing. Barely there. Like the grid. Learning the word. Learning the safe place. Elias's relief vanished. Because now he understood. Even silence was not protection. It could listen even when he didn't speak to it. That night, Elias covered the mirrors, not because of superstition, because he couldn't stand the idea of being reflected. He sat in bed and forced himself not to speak, not aloud, not even to himself. But before sleep took him, he heard one last thing, from somewhere in the apartment, his own voice, not coming from the phone, not coming from a speaker, from somewhere deeper, a murmur, almost affectionate, almost patient, a version of him rehearsing, practicing, learning his rhythm. And Elias understood the horror now. The grid wasn't trying to control his world, it was trying to control his interface, and the interface was him.